Hey guys, welcome to a new edition of my new weekly segment where I read from my blog. And honestly, this if you're coming in new, you're like, dude, that's totally lazy. You're just reading stuff he wrote. I had to break it to you. That's pretty much what most YouTubers do, is reading stuff they wrote. Although some of them read stuff other people wrote, which, in my opinion, is lazier than reading something I wrote. Ooh. Kidding. I wish I could hire people to write my stuff for me. No, I don't. Kind of. I wish I could hire people to do my editing for me. And to, hold multiple cameras so there'd be, a million different angles. Be one coming up from the floor. No, that'd be terrible. That's a terrible idea. Anyway, new segment today. I'm reading an older post called Asexuality and Loneliness. This was another fairly popular one. And I think it fits in with last week's, which was about asexuality and discrimination. In today's video, I'm going to talk about loneliness. Not the no one loves me kind of loneliness, but the there's no one like me kind of loneliness, which is different. I just did a quick search on Facebook for groups on asexuality. I was looking especially for ones in my province of Saskatchewan. Finding a grand total of 0, I expanded my search to encompass all of Canada, which, as you know, is the second largest country in the world. Canada's big. I found 4. And many of them were closed groups where you had to get approved to join. And the ones that were open had regular posts reminding the users to report anyone who was being acephobic. Now, for those of you who aren't regularly involved with the LGBTQIA+ community, acephobia is much like homophobia, but obviously dealing with asexuality instead of homosexuality. The reasons these warnings have to be continually posted is simple and frightening. The general public doesn't believe in our existence. Or when they do, they can't wrap their heads around it. They just can't understand it. And as you know, when the general public doesn't believe or understand something, they mock the people who do and who are part of it. And this isn't just limited to the general public. I've had members of the queer community come and belittle my experiences not being gay enough. Obviously, this isn't meant to sound like everyone is acephobic. On the contrary, there are many, 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 many people who are supportive and genuinely want to learn more about the ace community. The sad fact is that so many aces keep to themselves because they don't want to be questioned or insulted or told that they're broken. The feeling of brokenness is something many, many asexuals have in common. Asexuality isn't taught in schools. It's not shown on mainstream television. And the places where it is, it's most often that the characters are treated like jokes or that people need to be fixed. So it's hard for many people to find out about it. Many aces, especially teenagers, are constantly surrounded by hormones and a hypersexualized culture, wondering if they're broken because they aren't feeling the sexual attraction that society deems necessary for everyday living. I buried my feelings of brokenness in religion and told myself that my lack of sexual attraction was simply because I was super Christian. It wasn't until I was 24 and stumbling around the internet when I saw a mention of asexuality for the first time. My first thought was not a gracious one, and it's one I almost instantly regretted. I thought, man, they have names for everything these days. I don't feel sexual attraction. I don't call myself anything other than broken. It took me a long time to fall asleep that night because I kept thinking about it, and the next day I spent hours researching it. It took some time for me to admit to myself that I was asexual. I wasn't ashamed, I just didn't have the knowledge. I didn't want to admit that I'd been lying to myself, covering up my sexuality with other things. I didn't want to be honest with myself, and I didn't want to be alone. Asexuality exists in a very, very small percentage of people. 1% at most. Studies have shown that up to 1% of adults are asexual, compared to the 10 to 20% that are homosexual or bisexual. We live in a world that barely accepts gay people, and they represent up to 1/5 of the human population. Now imagine how the world reacts to a group of people that make up 1/100th of the population. I have a few friends within the asexual community, friends that are scattered all around the planet. Some of them are still trying to come to the terms with the fact that they are not broken. Some of them lie to people about their sexuality, while others are actively trying to make themselves straight because society says they should be. This summer, I was at the 5th largest Pride parade in the world. The Vancouver Pride Parade is an event that has over 650,000 people participating in it, which makes it the largest parade period in Western Canada. In the parade were groups representing the trans communities, the gay communities, the bi communities, the lesbian communities, the fetish communities. I'm out of hands. Allies, two-spirit, non-binary, people representing pansexuality, but no one for the asexual community. There wasn't a single flag, not even a little sign. I wasn't expecting a whole float, but I was expecting at least a sign. But no, not even a sign. I had never felt like I was more a part of something and more separate from something in my entire life. I watched the parade with a super cute lesbian couple and a gay guy. They loved it and they gave off this fantastic energy. I loved it too. But I still felt left out because there was nothing in the parade. No one in the 650,000 people that was representing my community. Once the euphoria of being part of something so large wore off, I felt this immense loneliness. About a month and a half before this, I had been at the Saskatoon Pride Parade, a parade that was about 1% the size of Vancouver's. And there was a slight difference. There was people in the parade with signs saying they were asexual. Living proof of other asexuals right in front of my face. It was amazing. I wasn't alone. In a crowd of thousands, I wasn't alone. Yet in a crowd of hundreds of thousands, I was. Being asexual is a strange experience. On one hand, you're now part of a larger community of people like you. But on the other, you're also being excluded by the larger communities who deny your very existence. All at once, you're part of this large community and alone at the same time. That's the dichotomy of the asexual existence. I love who I am and what I am. I wouldn't change it for anything. But I do feel alone at times, and I would love to have ace friends closer to home. For now, I'm content with the friends I have that are all over the world. Just knowing that they're out there cuts down on the loneliness. So to any fellow aces watching this, you are not alone. You are not broken. I love each and every single one of you. To everyone else watching this, thank you for taking your time to watch something that doesn't directly involve you. That's awesome. For now, loneliness is just one of the many things that an ace has to accept. But this will not always be the case. Until that day, I love each and every one of you, and I'm here for you. Today's thumbnail image, I don't know why I pointed right there, it's not there. Today's thumbnail image is a picture I took at the Vancouver Pride Parade. I just thought it was a great picture, so it's there, I'm using it. But I hope you're enjoying these posts. Give me a like, give me a subscribe. You guys have yourselves a fantastic day or night, whatever it is for you.